What's up, guys? I'm back from Project K, and today we're going to be doing another Marvel review. We're going to be doing the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Now, you guys seem to like the Spider-Man Homecoming review, so we're going to just go a couple months back to Guardians Volume 2. Now, this movie was directed by James Gunn, produced by Kevin Feige, and it stars Chris Pratt, Zoe Saldana, Dave Bautista, Vin Diesel, Bradley Cooper, Michael Rooker, Karen Gillan, Pom Klementieff, Elizabeth Debicki, Chris Sullivan, Sean Gunn, Sylvester Stallone, and Kurt Russell. Now, the music was by Tyler Bates, and that's basically the cast of the movie. Now, it was obviously the production company was, of course, Marvel Studios, and it rested on a $200 million budget, which is very comfortable, and it has a all-around box office of $860.1 million, so it did decently well. Now, those are the main details of the movie, and we're going to get quickly into the plot so we can go into my thoughts. So basically, in 2014, Peter Quill, Gamora, Drax, Rocket, and Baby Groot are the renowned Guardians of the Galaxy. And what happens is Aisha, the leader of the Sovereign race, has the Guardians protect a valuable battery pack from an interdimensional monster in exchange for Gamora's estranged sister Nebula, who was caught attempting to steal the batteries. So after Rocket steals some of the batteries for himself, then the Sovereign and the Guardians become enemies, and then the Sovereign attacks the Guardians with a fleet of drones, and the drones are destroyed by some mysterious figure, and they crash land the Guardians on this nearby planet. And what happens is that figure reveals himself as Quill's father, Ego, and he invites the Guardians to his home planet while Rocket and Groot remain near the ship to guard Nebula. Now, Aisha hires Yondu and his crew to recapture the Guardians, and they capture Rocket. But then Yondu hesitates to turn over Quill, and whom he raised, and then his lieutenant Taserface, one of the main villains with a crazy funny name, leads a mutiny with help of Nebula, and then Taserface then imprisons Rocket and Yondu aboard Yondu's ship, and then he executes his loyalists, and then Nebula tries to track down and kill Gamora, who she blames for the torture on her father Thanos. So, while in prison, Rocket and Yondu kind of bond a little bit, which was nice to see two kind of very different characters bonding. And then Groot and Yondu's kind of loyalist Kraglin freeze Rocket and Yondu, and then they destroy the ship and its crew as they escape, but then not before Taserface warns the Sovereign. So, it's like a bunch of different rivalries from the first movie come together, and especially Yondu. He definitely turns good in this movie. Then what happens is Ego, he's like a godlike celestial. He manipulated the matter around his consciousness to form his sort of home planet. He explains that he projected a humanoid guys to travel the universe and discover a purpose, eventually falling in love with Quill's mother, Meredith. Then Ego hires Yondu to collect young Quill, after Meredith's death, but the boy was never delivered, and Ego has been searching for his son ever since. He then teaches Quill to manipulate the celestial power, kind of like Yoda and Luke Skywalker, a little bit. And then Nebula arrives at Ego's planet and tries to kill Gamora, but the pair kind of reach an uneasy alliance when they discover that the caverns that they are sort of battling in is filled with skeletons. So Ego reveals that Quill, that in his travels, he planted seedlings on thousands of worlds which can terraform then into new extensions of himself, but they can only be activated by the combined power of two Celestials. So to that end, he had multiple kids and then hired Yondu to collect them, but killed them all when they failed to access the celestial power. But under the influence of Ego's power, Quill helps them activate the seedlings, which begin to consume every world. So basically, then finally Quill turns to his own mind again, and he fights Quill back when Ego reveals that he actually killed Meredith due to the distraction that she posed to Quill finding his power. So that's kind of interesting. I like that plot. Then Mantis, Ego's naive empath servant, grows close to Drax and warns him of Ego's plan. And then Gamora and Nebula also learn of the plan just as Rocket, Yondu, and Groot and Kraglin arrive. The reunited Guardians will reach Ego's brain at the planet core and then fight the Sovereign's arriving drones. Rocket then makes a bomb using those stolen batteries from the beginning of the movie, and Groot plants on Ego's brain. Then Quill fights Ego with his newfound celestial powers, and then in order to distract him to allow the other Guardians and Mantis to escape, the bombs then explode, killing Ego and disintegrating the planet. Then Yondu sacrifices himself to save Quill, who realizes that the reason Yondu kept him was to spare him from the fate of Ego's other progeny. And that Yondu was Quill's true daddy, basically. And then, having reconciled with Gamora, Nebula still chooses to leave and attempt to kill Thanos. And then the Guardians hold a funeral for Yondu, which is attended by many of the Ravager ships, acknowledging Yondu's sacrifice and accepting him as a Ravager. Then, also in the mid and post-credit scenes, Kraglin takes up Yondu's telekinetic arrow and control fin, and then the Ravager leader Stakar Ogoid reunites with his ex-teammates, and then Groot starts growing back to normal size, and he kind of exhibiting typical teenage behavior in the process. Then Aisha creates a new artificial being who she plans to destroy the Guardians, naming him Adam. And a group of uninterested watchers listen to the kind of informant discussing several experiences on Earth as they walk away. That's basically the main plot of the movie. And yeah, I thought the plot was good, but I feel like the result wasn't as great as the previous movie. This movie definitely sort of relied on Baby Groot's crazy cuteness, but I feel like it did a good job. I didn't think it was a bad movie, but I feel like the first movie was better, I have to say. And the first movie just it was a little I don't really know how to say this, but it kind of, the first movie just felt more like funnier. The first movie was funnier. I feel like had a better storyline. But this movie definitely puts more backstory onto the characters and definitely sets them up for Infinity War. I feel like it did a good job doing that, because now it's introduced Mantis and Nebula turning good, and especially Yondu's death. And I think it did a good job. I think it did a really good job introducing the characters for Infinity War, especially introducing Peter's dad and then killing him off. So we do get a lot of that for the comics. Now, especially now that Guardians 3 is going to come after Infinity War, we don't know much about that, if that's even going to happen, but we know that the characters are definitely set up for the big battle against Thanos. So I think they did a good job doing that, but I definitely feel like the first movie, I liked the first movie more just because it was brighter, it was more funny. I feel like the plot was nicer. The first movie was definitely the best, but the Guardians 2 did its job introducing them to Infinity War. And yeah, so that's going to be it for my review. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, and if you want more movie reviews, please leave a like and a comment down below. And don't forget to also comment which movie you want me to review next. So don't forget to subscribe, and adios, guys. See you later.